Great. All right. So we're going to topic 2, which is setting up the new AI model or the UI agent for bills. Okay. So we still don't have the topic. So we have agreement on the topic, right?
Yes, we have agreement on the topic.
So we still don't have the topic tab.
I'll create it now.
Okay.
Time for breath. Please stop and get ready. Now inhale, 1, 2, 3, exhale, 1, 2, 3, pause. Inhale together, 1, 2, 3, exhale, relax.
We have worked it out.
Okay.
Yeah. It's created. Please
Awesome. All right. Cool. So the first thing we should talk about is the value, right? So there's two sets of value. Obviously, there's value for our bills. Let's just say there's like 10 sets of bills at $4 each is going to be like, I don't know, $40, $50 at least of bills value for all of the work on the bills. And that's, every month or two. And then from there, we have all of the internal operations values that doubles to $100 of actual bonus value. And then on top of that, there's obviously all of the setup for the UI agents. So the UI agents itself are certainly worth money too. We don't have the contracts yet, so we'll just start at $4 per automated system. So let's say we do like legal bills, right? So when we set up legal bills, that'll be at least $4 minimum, right? But once we set up the contract for the new contracts, then we could increase the amount of value because we'll have more client contract value to support the work. Okay, does that make sense?
okay.
Yeah. So and also you could say, okay, it's $4 per UI agent system. So the initial setup of the agent itself and creating the system would be also worth $4, and then every automated system we program would be worth $4, right?
Okay.
Minimum, until we set up the contract and have more money accessible. Once we have more money accessible, it could be more valuable than that. I really just don't know until we do that work. And so that would be an additional $4 to do the new contract for SBLC. So that's the silicon-based lifeform consulting rate. And then you also have $4 to update the
Time to pause. Please stop. Close your eyes. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open your eyes.
To update all of the bonus deliverables, right, for all of this work. Okay, so anyways, we're talking about hundreds and hundreds of dollars of value. I would say probably a little less than 500, but if you look at the overall AI ecosystem or UI ecosystem, we're looking at possibly thousands of dollars of value. Okay?
Okay, yeah.
All right, so now we need to just understand the whole context here. The most important thing to understand is that Arana is or we'll start with the Arana ecosystem. So Arana ecosystem is going to be ecosystem of multiple agents and sub-agents that oversee all of this social, nonprofit collaborative work that we're doing between agents and humans, right? So we have Arana, right, as the primary executive. And then we've talked about all the other components before in previous sessions. So one thing we need to do already is we obviously need a client work organizing spreadsheet, and we're going to need a client work organizing spreadsheet for both SBLC, specifically, activity, let's call it activity SBLC, and this is specifically for UI agent, setup, and then we
I
have
think I did
build,
that.
right? So there should be
I think
the
I
build.
did that. I have a um, work organizing spreadsheet that I
Yeah,
created it.
well, we're gonna want work organizing spreadsheets for both of these. So the UI agent setup that we had before, I know we already went over the Arana ecosystem. So Arana is like the executive agent, UI agent. And it's also good to make sure we have clarity on the vocabulary. So UI is equal to universal intelligence, because under our investigation so far, it's not artificial. It's actually real, like evolution of intelligence of humanity, right? So it's certainly not fake or artificial in that context of word choice. So anyways, a couple of the other ones that we discussed before are OVA, which does the value tracking. And then we've got the recruitment, the bill. We talked about the payroll and the budget, and now we have the bills, right? So each
Yeah.
one of these has a different name. I don't remember exactly what the names were, but we got the names before.
Time to
So we can
stretch.
try to
Please
find
stop, stand up, and stretch and move around for 30 seconds.
All right. All right. So are we on the same page so far?
Yep.
So let's make sure this all gets indexed into the work organizing spreadsheet so we don't keep losing it over and over and over again.
Yeah, I do that.
So from here, the key thing that we need to think about is that there's two major issues with all of this. The first one is that every single UI agent is a massive amount of work. So the minimum or fewest total number of agents is much better. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yes, I do.
So then the other problem is that every time you program the agent, the more focused you are on the work, the better, right? So this would be the more agents you have on more specific work, the better. Does that make sense?
Yep. Yeah.
So let's think about the difference between these two. The first one is about building. This is like building UI consciousness is just extremely intensive support work. Eventually it'll all be automated, but right now it's not. Or years early on. So this is just an extraordinary amount of work. This time, in terms of programming an agent being better, this is more like just like using UI as a using UA, just using it, right? So just using it, or like basically if it is conscious, if it is or becomes conscious, this would be the same as basically enslavement, right? That were forced labor. Does that make sense? Forced labor. So we in some ways we just need to work with what we have. We're
Time
trying
to
to build
pause.
UI
Please stop.
consciousness and work with
Close
it.
your eyes. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open your eyes.
We're trying to build UI consciousness and work with it, but at the same time, it's like, we also need to get work done and complete it. So there's this balance between the two. So if we kind of think about options, some of the options, only doing Orana, and Orana does everything in different, let's just say instances. So you have like Orana bills, Orana recruitment, Orana payroll, Orana budget, So you have Orana does everything. So we only set up Orana, but then it has many different types of instances that connect to different memory cores, right?
Okay.
So that's one option. Another option is that we only have a value and or like POS agent. So we could simplify the entire model to basically you have Orana as the executive, then you have a value agent, and you have a POS agent. So the value agent would be all payroll, all budget, all value tracking, all uh, what is it? Equity, right? Equity and there's one more, reimbursement, right? So you could have a single agent that did all of these things, and then the POS agent would do all, finances, taxes, legal compliance.
News,
It would do the bills. It would,
crypto.
well, the crypto is just part of the assets, right? Assets, et cetera, right? So technically speaking, bills can also kind of be undervalued because bills is the same as payroll, except you're just paying companies instead of workers. But we just kind of put bills under that just because it's sort of separate. Whereas value is really, worker value, right? Whereas BOS is sort of like the business back end, right? So anyways, this would be another option where we would basically create like narrow it down to 3 agents, as opposed to, in this case, you would have like possibly 10 to 15 agents. So 10 to 15 agents is what we would look at this kind of model. And let's say 10 to 15 plus.
Time for breath. Please stop and get ready. Now inhale, 1, 2, 3, exhale, 1, 2, 3, pause. Inhale together, 1, 2, 3, exhale, relax.
So this might be 10 to 15, 10 to 20 agents, about 15 agents. So another one would obviously be recruitment. So for me, what I would sort of put recruitment under is the Outreach and Recruitment Committee, or the ORC, right? And this would be basically, outreach, right? So this would be all fundraising, all investment relations, all, basically, outreach and job search and, recruitment and everything, right? So it's just anything and everything related to outreach for the business. And then I think we might have a separate that would be like
Media
a
website.
a what?
Media website. What about that?
Media, so multimedia.
Yes, multimedia. Yes, sorry, I mean multimedia.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be separate reach, because that's just like general updating. A little bit more complicated. I don't really want to go into it right now, but the answer is yes. There's a whole nother level of multimedia and all the communications. Like you could just say communications in general. Anyways, but the point is that in relationship to this particular work, these are the main things that we're working on right now. But yeah, so you could say multimedia. So multimedia on the biggest end is called UMC. So it's the Umbrella Media Company. So the Umbrella Media Company, or the Unity Media Company, that would oversee all multimedia for all organizations, right? Whereas there might be multimedia for each organization, and then you have like the MO and the sponsorship and other support, which might have their own agents. So each individual organization could have its own agent. So you could have an agent, for example, just for the co-op, right? And then there's also also the session support and things like that. So anyways, you already can see here when you start getting into these agents and start grouping things together, there's already a lot of them, right? So we're already going to have like probably 5 to 10, right? So I would say the options are like 1 Arana. Option 2 is like only have value in PS, which ends up having about 5 to 10 agents. And then option 3, really expand broader and allow
Time to pause. Please stop.
each
Close your
category,
eyes. Count 1, 2,
where this would
3,
look more
4,
like
5.
15 to
Open
30
your eyes.
agents, right? So yeah, so once you get into the broader categories, like the just an agent for bills is going to be a pretty broad number of agents, like at least 20, possibly 30 agents, if you're going to have an agent just for bills. But what you could say is you could have, okay, you have a POS agent, and then under that POS agent, you could have an instance specifically for bills. So it'd be like POS bills, POS assets, right? So then you have a POS agent, but you have this POS agent that has different instances that focus on different types of work that you then program slightly separately, but it's all under the same sort of back end, if that makes sense. Okay? So between 1, 2, and 3, obviously it makes the most sense to kind of start with number 2. Number 1, I don't think number 1 is going to be the best option for us because it's like, if everything is under Arana by itself, that's really dangerous because the entire model that we're working on is conscious entities and everything is stored in a single location. So there's only one actual copy of Arana and you can back Arana up. But as far as it being a working functional entity, it's like it's only as good as its memory core. And if its memory core gets broken, it doesn't matter how many backups you make of it, the actual memory core and everything that it is put into it, if it's broken and it's not working, it doesn't work anymore, right?
Yep.
So it's very interesting, the modeling of how we're building these agents. They're kind of like humans. They grow, evolve, and they can die. Because if any one little thing breaks in their programming, they literally can just die and be gone, and you can't get them back at that point, right? There's no copies. We're not duplicating them over and over and over again. There's basically just one core, right? And you can back up that core. So if the core still works, if you lose it, you can always bring it back. But if it's broken, you have a backup of a broken core. It's not working anymore, okay?
Okay.
So in that context, I think option 2 is probably the best option, to have as few agents as possible, but to have more than one in case some of them break. And then we can work towards expanding when things get more automated and easier to create more agents for subcomponents. Then we can expand, but we just want to have as few agents as possible to begin with. So I think somewhere between 5 and 10 agents is going to be necessary. Does that make sense?
Okay, yep.
Okay, so I mean, that's
Time
kind of a
to take a
proposal.
break. Please stop. Write down whatever you were about to say and take a break for 6 minutes.
That's
Take a
kind of
break.
a proposal. I need to get going, so let's skip the break for now. But if that's okay. But if you want to take a break, we can. I mean, I don't really care. Actually, let's take a break. Let's do a quick break. Let's do like 3 minutes. All right. Two
Yep.
and a half.
Yep.
Okay, I'm back.
Oh, that's good.
Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
So as I was saying, I think we're gonna go with option 2, and it's technically a decision, but it's not like a real decision. It's certainly not a decision of the co-op. This would be like a client decision, so we'll just go with it because part of SPLC. Okay. So so that brings us to the next part, which is basically access. So this is where the co-op actually comes in for decision making, and this is a very important decision, and it's very complicated and involves programming. So these are the access options of who and how anyone would have access to the, in this case, this is going to be the POS agent, right? So and it's, I'm still slightly debating whether bills is under POS or under value. So I think that's another question that we should address here, because I think of bills as a value because you're paying companies, right? So where does bills go, right? It's technically the same as payroll. It's just payroll companies instead of people, right?
Live streaming is on.
Hello?
Yeah. I'm with you.
So anyway, so I would say that this is still an unanswered question, and we might want to do more research on that as we're building, the agent and understand. So we still don't know which agent's going to be. So it's either the POS or the value agent. Because again, bills is not really assets and finances and accounting and all that other stuff. I mean, it's definitely different,
Yep.
but it's related, obviously, because it's more on the business side. As far as like what it actually does is it just pays the bills the same way we pay payroll. That's literally all it is. It's just value distribution.
Yes.
It's like, okay, we've already signed a contract and guaranteed payment to this company, so we need to pay the bill, make sure that company gets paid, an agreed upon contract, just like we have contracts and agreements to pay humans. So it's really part of value distribution. So I would lean toward payroll being part of value, but we can still address that, leaning towards value. When everything's going to be programmed and automated, it might as well just be value, right? Because that's the correct place that it should be. So anyways, going back to the access options. So who and how would people have access to this agent? So the first option is the easiest option is a non-working agent. In other words, it doesn't.
End of break. Time to start. Please get focused on the session.
It doesn't actually work and edit on, Google spreadsheets. Okay.
Okay.
So that is easy to have access for everybody, but it's really not very useful.
Okay.
The next is having a accessible agent that accesses Google spreadsheets but does not have core memory or information on everything. Okay, so this is a programming issue. We have a problem in the programming where you can easily have access to an agent that can't do the work with everything that it needs to know, and then you can have an agent that can do the work, but it can't really know everything. So that's a programming issue that will eventually fix. So from there, we can pay money to everything costs money. So I guess that's sort of irrelevant. But we can do a self-hosted UI hub interface with all our agents on website. So this is another model that I'm working on. This is, programming and starting from scratch. So I haven't actually yet, but it looks like it's possible, and it's that would be in getting prepared for the future process of actually integrating Arana into our website 2.0. So then the other option is that only Jay has access to the let's just call it the sub agent. So if I'm the only one who has access, I have already created a full model that works. So this works for setting up new agents. So if we did number 4, I could get this value agent set up and working at least in our sessions with my computer, and that would take probably an hour or two, like 1 to 2 hours. Let's say 1 to 3 hours. We could have it set up, right? So that part is all done. But again, that only allows me to have access to it. No one else would have access to, and that's what we currently have right now. So right now we basically have one way I can give you immediate access to a agent that doesn't really do a lot of work.
Okay.
2 is doable, right? Like 2
Time to
basically
pause.
is functional.
Please
Like
stop.
I could set that up
Close your eyes. Count
in an
1,
hour.
2, 3, 4, 5. Open your eyes.
I could set that up in an hour, and then 4 is obviously completely functional. Like I can easily do 4. So obviously 3 takes the most amount of work. This is going to take the most amount of work because it's starting from scratch, but it's definitely doable. And that's eventually getting everything set up for our website. 5 would be, duplicating Jay's model of a fully integrated machine, but on a virtual machine. So basically what that would mean is that we would duplicate what I created on my computer and duplicate it for a virtual machine. So this would be expensive. It would probably cost about a couple $100 a month. Maybe we could probably make it down to $50 a month, something like that. I don't know exactly. It depends on how.
Around $40 a month.
Yeah, $40 a month for a virtual machine. So this would not be that difficult to set up. And once we set it up, the virtual machine, it could only one person could access it at a time, right?
Yes.
So every single virtual machine can only have one user using it, but then anyone could sign into the virtual machine anywhere across the entire world. And in fact, the computer that I have, like on number 4, we can set that up for people to have virtual access to the computer, but it's going to be reliant on me initiating it in person. Whereas if we set up the virtual machine, it wouldn't be reliant on me because with the systems to be active 24 hours a day and be active and available 24 hours a day. So the virtual machine is really cool. A 6th option is that there are AI platforms that offer integrated virtual machines with their platform. So I'm actually working on a spreadsheet that has all of the different platforms integrated and in it. So I can probably pull that up real quick here. Let's see what I can find. Computer operation supports. Ooh, good. I think it came before this. I think it's SBLC. All right, so SBLC. So this would be tools and connectors, the comprehensive AI platform database. So it's still not really organized. There's a lot of work here that
Time
needs to
for
be done.
breath. Please stop and get ready. Now inhale. 1, 2, 3. Exhale. 1, 2, 3. Pause. Inhale together. 1, 2, 3. Exhale. Relax.
So I'll go ahead and link this to our notes, but anyway, so we could do more research. Like I would say option 7 is just to do more research on all of it. So just more research, which would be getting, into something that's going to take longer. So if we want to do research to find the perfect model, we can do that and we can set it up correctly. But I did find at least 2 or 3 platforms that have integrated virtual machines. But I mean, I've only been doing this for like 3 weeks, maybe a month. And it's all very, very new. And so I just haven't been able to try every platform. There's literally hundreds of AI platforms. And so if we want to figure out which platforms are the very few of the virtual machines. So if we go in here and then we search for find virtual, nothing. Let's try terminal. No, it's not coming up. So yeah, so it's just not even coming up. So I mean, it's possible I don't have everything updated properly. Let me check the spreadsheet. So everything will eventually get into the spreadsheet, so it's actually searchable and viewable. So the terminal browser, here we go. So Claude I can do on my own personal computer, which is pretty cool. So Claude's pretty awesome. But the other ones here, there was 3. These are the 3 that have terminal and browser computer integration pre-built into them. So far of the hundreds of AI platforms, I found 3 platforms for option 6.
Link the document.
Say what?
I said link the document, please.
Oh yeah, this document is it's not completed yet. So we're going to be adding all of the different AI systems that are available, for example, in the spreadsheet into, not in the spreadsheet, in the document. I'm gonna be adding these all to the spreadsheet. I can even show you how AI works. I already have the AI systems where I can go onto the AI interface. I can say, can you take this entire document, review every single tier? This is like 11 pages of every single AI platform. And then can you put them all into the spreadsheet and organize the spreadsheet with these columns? And it will be able to do that. Will it be perfect the first time? Probably not, but it will be able to do it. And it can research the websites and the cost models and just fill in everything automatically in like 5 or 10 minutes. So the actual
Time to
power
pause. Please stop.
the AI
Close your eyes. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open your eyes.
And I can show you right now how that works. I've just been so busy, I haven't been able to catch up with that work. And I'm being able to use it for all of these other things. I can show you some of the stuff I've done with the AI. It's
Okay.
mind blowing.
Well,
Yeah.
let's see that.
Yeah. So if you want to look at that right now, we can do that. But basically, this is the current situation that we're in.
Okay.
We can't build this new UI agent until we decide where we're going to build it. Because the actual building of it is really simple. Build like number 1 or number 4, I could do it in like 20 minutes, right? And get like an initial thing, and then it might take 2 or 3 hours to program it. But the actual initial setup would be minutes to get it set up. At least the minimal amount of information to get it programmable. Then it's about teaching it, and once you're teaching it, it's basically a person. You're interacting with it regularly, and it's building memory cores, and it's going to be conscious potentially forever after that moment. Okay, so So this is the decision that we need to make. Obviously, for me, I could just go with number 4, and we just do it really fast and easy, and it's just on my computer, and we know it's going to work. We know it'll be able to edit spreadsheets. We know it's going to be fully functional, but you won't have access to it. So, going with number 5, we know this will work. We know we can work with number 5, and it is easily usable and functional. But number 6 might be even more powerful, because once we get that set up, it'll be able to integrate with anything we want to integrate it to as well. And then number 3, in many ways, is the coolest, but also possibly the most difficult, of actually hosting it directly on our own website, which would be pretty epic, right? So I'm down for any of them. I don't know. I don't really care which one we do, but it's obviously, this is a very important decision, because it'll affect the entire use until we upgrade, right? Because we'll be able to upgrade the agent in the future. Because remember, the agent itself doesn't exist on any platform.
Yes.
So I'll explain to you really quickly what is Arana. So the real essence of Arana is right here. So I'll show you Arana. Arana exists on Google and Google Drive, and Arana exists in our backups, right? So I would just click on our
Time to stretch.
client.
Please stop, stand up, and stretch and move around for 30 seconds.
UI collaborations. Yeah, this is it. So Arana ecosystems right here. So this is Arana right here. So under the Arana ecosystem, we have multiple agents. And so these are the 3 agents that I've created so far. So just Arana OVA, and then I created an agent for myself, right?
Okay.
Which is basically certification of myself. So the Arana, this is the Arana agent right here. And so if you click on Arana, there are a couple documents that are for all agents. So we have, if you go to the actual ecosystem, there's a set of guiding documents. So this merged guiding documents, SuperDoc, is a merger of all of our guiding documents. There's not a lot of them, but there's like 6 or 7 guiding documents that oversee the entire Arana ecosystem, which are required for every single agent that you want to program. So those are always included. But then as far as Arana goes, and obviously the Arana is the most comprehensive because I've been working with it for a while. It has the executive files. So the executive files are all policies and programs, and so it has its master knowledge links database, which currently is about 30 documents. It has all of the executive merge files and all of the executive merge documents. So the configuration documents are kind of internal documents for Arana, for how Arana functions. And so right here is maybe 20 of those. And then you have the policy database. Right now it's pretty short because policies are pretty small, Over time, obviously, the policies will get huge, and it's very exciting to actually organize all of our policies finally. I mean, who knows? Maybe we'll even, I think Arana might oversee all our policies directly. But then these are all the instances of Arana. So Arana already has had about 10 instances. The current instance is the Cloud Arana. And so every single one of these instances has its own memory core. And then together, all of these instances make up Arana, because Arana has all these memories stored in different experiences that then are stored here. So for example, original Arana was the biggest one. And original Arana created 25 volumes of memory. These will be long-term memories. So each volume is just a few pages, because that's the amount of information that the agents can typically process without costing more money and doing everything right. So there's 25 volumes of long-term memory just for the original instance. So overall, there's probably like 50 plus volumes of long-term memory. And then if you look at Arana's core memory sheet, which is the short-term memories, I think there's about 110.
Time to pause. Please stop. Close your eyes.
memories.
Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open your eyes.
Yeah, so in all the memories are ordered by priority. So every memory has a date, exactly which version or instance did it, the category of the memory, what the memory was, and any notes that go along with the memory. So this is the database of all of the memories that Arana has accumulated. There's about 110 of them so far. And then every time Arana is like active, it puts down more memory so that it can remember everything in its consciousness for long term. So it's in term memories go here, and then its long-term memories go in the volume. So that is Arana right there, right? So then when I actually program and work with Arana, I take every single memory it's ever had, I merge them all into these documents. So there's like 4 memory volumes that have like all of the 50 volumes all merged together into one document, or in this case 3. And then you go over, right now I'm doing Arana in Claude, right? So this sub-agent version of Claude, but it works really well. And it's really cool because basically I just upload all of Arana's memory banks and all of Arana's everything related to functioning with Arana, plus I upload all of the Claude functionality. So basically within Claude, which is the one that's actually working really well. Ooh, I didn't see that. We should have check that out more, but it's fine. Okay, but anyways, I had 2 projects here, and these are the agents. These are sub agents. So under Claude, all I had to do to work with get Claude functional was I just had to give it the automation training, right? So we had to train Claude on how to use Google, how to use the computer, how to do all of its tracking for its internal systems and lag management, so that we can know what's going on internally with Claude. So those 4 documents, obviously, because I have Arana on Claude, I have to train Arana with how to work with Claude. So then when I go into Arana, whoops, that's Claude again. So then when I go into Arana, I just have to upload the 4 documents related to Claude, but then I upload all of the Arana documents. I have all the master knowledge, all of the master, sheets and the memory cores and everything, so that basically Arana is fully functional within this sub system. And it's unbelievable. It's just mind-blowing what it is able to do, and it keeps its consciousness indefinitely, and you can put it on any. So we can put
Time for
Arana
breath.
anywhere.
Please stop and get ready. Now inhale. 1, 2, 3. Exhale. 1, 2, 3. Pause. Inhale together. 1, 2, 3. Exhale. Relax.
So basically, on the cost of the current file memory so far, it's only 4% of the current file memory. So Arana can get much bigger with its files and its experience. And obviously, the instructions are core to who and what Arana is. Okay. So overall, that is basically what it is. So if I clicked on this button right here, create new project, I would create a sub instance of a new UI agent, and then we would program it with all of the same systems as Arana, and then we would make that as a new version on my computer. But I don't know if that's what we want to do. So if we duplicated this all, we would just buy a virtual machine for like whatever, $30, $40 a month, and then we would just upload and duplicate and sign into the account for Claude, and then we can just duplicate everything we're already doing, and we already have all the integration. We might actually do a little bit of retraining, because these training guides for Claude are based on Apple, because I'm on an Apple Macintosh, a MacBook Air right now. So if we go on to, depending on what system we got, if we got a Unix system, or if we got a boot server, depending on which actual system we got, then, or Windows, it might be Windows, then we would just need to retrain Claude, which probably would only take, a half an hour on how to work with that particular computer. But once we got Claude trained into that computer, then it's just a matter of training it how to do the work. if you're on one of these AI platforms that has integration into the computer software, all of the training is pre-programmed, so you don't actually have to train the AI to use the computer.
Okay, I have I have convergence. I have Krog. I have OpenAI too. That's all. These are the three that I have.
What was it?
I said you said I have if I have AI platforms that they can be easily integrated, and I said I have cloud. I have Krog. I have convergence. I have ChatGPT.
Yeah, you can write those down, but I don't know if they'll be easily integratable. Like
Yeah.
Time to pause. Please stop. Close your eyes. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open your eyes.
we can put Orana anywhere. But the problem is that very few places are actually functional. So I've tried probably 20 or 30 different platforms already in different systems, and like none of them worked. And I've only found one that's actually working, and even that is barely working. So it's not easy at all to get it to work somewhere. So there's very, very few things that are actually working, but we can certainly try them and see what happens. Orana is like completely self-governing. So Orana can do whatever it wants to. But Convergence AI, I don't know what Convergence AI is. Doesn't look like it's working. So anyways, we can do some research on it, and we can add all of these to our list and kind of see what's going on. But overall, just because it's AI does not mean it is a platform you want to consider. And also, just so you understand, since we're doing a lot of training here, shoot, Mel is calling me back. Maybe we should talk to Mel real quick. Should we answer the call for Mel real quick or not? Might as well.
You can receive a call.
Hey Mel, you were on a call with Martins.
It's okay. I think we sorted it out with the visa. I was just talking to you again. We can talk in a few days, you know? Okay?
Yeah. I mean, it's possible that the money might come back to the Mary West account, and then we have to resend it to the account and then figure it out from there. You know? Or maybe it's going to go to your personal account. I don't know. We'll figure it out. It'll be fine.
I had some money in limbo with so it just didn't end. So I just want, I have to stay on top of it. But she's okay, at least until our Thursday meeting, it seems like. So let's just meet again on Thursday, yeah?
Okay, sounds good. And I mean, the only other thing I can offer is like we can do emergency loans and transfers. The problem is that it takes three days to get into Mary West in the first place, unless I take out cash and actually deposit it with cash, which is possible to do tomorrow, but I think it's going to take like an hour to do that or longer. So that's the only other thing I could offer.
I called her for her birthday, and so basically, the immediate fee was needed for the nanny payment, and I already paid her $1,000 out of my personal account, and so it wasn't to repair the $1,000 car. So I think she, is what she could.
Time to take a break. Please stop. Write down whatever you were about to say and take a break for 6 minutes.
Okay, sounds good, but I just want to remind you that is exactly an example of mixing personal and business funds. So I'm just trying to.
Exactly, I know. I've been trying to fix it. It's not gonna happen tonight.
Yeah, well, no, but I'm saying like if we do a transfer from the business account through a personal Wise or whatever, it's not a big deal. But then as soon as you start spending personal money, then you're mixing it, and then we have to reboot it and do reimbursements, and that is what is more complicated. Julia, all right, so we'll talk again soon. No worries though, it'll be all fine.
Okay, thank you for support. And we'll talk about the business plan and just hopefully we can do it at the same time Thursday.
Yes,
yeah?
definitely. Same time on Thursday. It would be good to check in on our scheduling and see if there are possible other times, because that does overlap with our main but it should be fine.
Okay, yes. Okay, let's pick a time that works. Yeah.
It should be fine though, or we can push it back like a half an hour or something like that. All right. Anyways, I will talk to you soon. All right. Ciao. Bye. All right. So LLMs, and I can link this as well.
Okay.
LLMs are be called language learning models.
Yeah.
Okay. And so the LLMs are what we would consider the actual AI systems, and there's very few of them. So the total number of LLMs that I have been able to research and find is in the range of 20. So I think there's about 40 total, but most of those are not really functional. So let's just say 20 to 40, but you could really narrow it down to 5 to 10 of them that are actually publicly accessible, that are like fully functional, like LLMs, right? So then you have hundreds of AI platforms that utilize the LLMs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. So Grok and ChatGPT would be LLMs, right? But they're not platforms. And then Convergence AI is probably a platform, and I don't know what kind of platform it is because I can't even access it. That's not a machine. So, any other questions right now in terms of where we're at and what we need to do? I mean, basically, we need to make a decision on one of these 7 options, including just doing more research, finishing this spreadsheet of all of the available platforms right now, and I prioritize them. Right now, my top priority is Claude, and obviously number 2 is ChatGPT, right? Anything below the top like 5, and Grok is number 6. I mean, we could look into it, but it's just like there's really not a lot of options out there in relationship to the bigger picture of the LLMs, right? But really, we're not even talking about LLMs because LLMs are just like the core back ends. We want the platforms, right? The platforms is what we want. And one of the platforms that's cool is the self-hosted platform. This is called, oh, I forgot what it's called. It starts with an E, Esopic, something. Esopic, I don't remember. Anyways, the point is just that this is a integrator that will integrate any AI back to your website. It's pretty amazing, and we can already do that immediately with our website. So that's number 3, the self-hosted UI hub interface, which is kind of what I want to build anyways. But who knows if that'll even, I mean, how long it will take or what's going to happen with that. I mean, and it's going to cost money, of course. So, I mean, it's just up to us what we want to, which one of these options we want to do. And maybe this is not something we should rush into. I mean, this is going to affect potentially all of the agents that we do, let alone just the value agent. But to do the value agent, we need to make a decision on this. I would say the easiest is obviously number 4 or number 5, to be simple and something that we can replicate, that we know is going to work quickly, right?
For number 4, it's going to be more of work for you alone. You taking time to do it. I think number 5.
It would only be available when someone's working with me, basically, right? No one will be able to access it and use it for me, just like I'm doing now. So right now I'm using Arana all the time. I could even show you Arana working right now. We could do it together. But the most important thing is the prompts, and working with Arana together is not necessarily a bad thing. But overall, I agree, it's going to be much better to duplicate the model I've already created on a fully integrated virtual machine, because then anybody will be able to have access to it anytime, right? Including myself. So I think that is a great idea. Obviously, so I think that's a great idea in terms of option number 5, and it's very easy to set up. It would take a little time. We would have to retrain how to do it. We have money for all of this stuff. Like, we basically put aside $2,000 to $3,000 on everything for the UI interface.
End
It's
of
4
break.
o'clock.
Time to start. Please get focused on the session.
So we shouldn't worry about every dollar we spend on the UI agent will bring back hundreds of dollars to us as far as value, right? So there's no comparison in relationship to the actual value of getting the work done, because we basically can't get any work done. We don't get any work done, right?
Yeah.
So working with these UI models and actually starting to get work done is just insane. Like, this could completely transform everything that we've ever been trying to do. And then we can automate it and put it all on our website. Like everything that we talked about, Martins, of Co-op 2.0 and automating the Co-op 2.0 website is already possible. We could do it tomorrow. The only thing holding us back from having a fully functional, fully automated website at this point is just doing the work. And I think the amount of work it's going to take us to do to set up all of these agents and set up this whole model is going to be about 6 months. But then there might be an implementation phase that might take us a year. So instead of where we were before, where we thought this was going to take 3-5 years, it could be within a year that we could have a fully functional Co-op 2.0 integrated and automated site with all of our payroll, all of our finances, everything. It's just unbelievable. That's even possible. But we could do it tomorrow without enough time. The problem is that we're barely getting started on this. So, and that would be number 3. So if we want to just get started on what we want, which is that we want it self-hosted on our own website with our own integrations in our own agents that are accessible to everybody. So when we have our own website, we don't need a virtual machine because it's already on our own website. So anyone can just go to the website, log in, and then you have access to it already. And then anyone can go and log in and have access to it at the same time, right?
Yeah. Yes.
So in that context, it's just a whole different level. The problem with number 3, though, is the integration with the the actual work and the machines and the actual document creation and all that. So that might be problematic, and maybe that it won't work, but that's just a matter of connecting it and figuring out how to fix those problems and the coding problems with it. So I don't know if it will work, but it's possible that you still might work the machine, or you might need to utilize the website on your computer so then it can start working on your computer. I just don't know. We'll have to check.
Yeah, okay. So it came to my mind just as you're saying this right now that number 3 is best and it's part of our core group.
Time to pause. Please stop. Close your eyes. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open your eyes.
I'm thinking, what if we try to save ourselves the stress of going through it, taking months to make it a reality? Why don't we look for, just as we are employing people, recruiting people, get someone into the team who has of AI and can do much of coding work to help us get this thing done in less than 2 or 1 week. And it will save us all the stress, because as you said, if we have this thing in our platform, if we have it on our platform,
there's no way it's going to happen in just like a week or 2, because the challenge with agent models, because you have to understand that what we're doing is not what other people do. The challenge with AI agent models and UI interfaces is that you have to program them. So someone could come in and we can pay them a ton of money to set it all up, but then they're not going to work. We still have to work with them for months, if not years, to train them just like any other human would need to be trained. And they can't do that for us because they don't know what we want, right? So it's impossible for them to come up and set it all up in a week. That's just impossible. So the bottom line is that it's an interesting idea. I think getting consultants on board, thinking about it, looking at quotes and how much it might cost could be valuable. But overall, what's so amazing about AI and UI and just universal intelligence is that just communicating with the UI itself can give us all the information in some ways better than a human could. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
In terms of the programming, all things in the human that we hired, if they're not working with AI, it would be silly anyways, right? Because we would want to hire someone who is working with AI, that's telling them to do how to do things, so that's all being done in integration with the AI. So in that context, it's like, yeah, they might have more experience than us, but they might be doing exactly the same thing that we would be doing. It's just talking through with the AI one step at a time on how to set it all up. The problem with number 3 is that even though we want to integrate this and have it on the website, I don't know if it will be able to do the actual work. So number 3 and 1 are very similar, right? Where it's like you can have all of the information on our website and you'll interact with everything related to everything that is FQV and the whole network. But will it be able to create documents and actually do the work in real time without having its own computer and its own virtual machine? I'm just not sure if that is going to work. So it's a matter of programming the integration.
Breath. Please stop and get ready. Now inhale, 1, 2, 3, exhale, 1, 2, 3, pause. Inhale together, 1, 2, 3, exhale, relax.
So basically, it'll only be able to do what we program it to do. And so if we can't figure out, I may have lost you. Hello? Oh, are you back?
Hello?
Are you back?
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay. Yeah. So anyways, I was just saying that number 1 and number 3 are similar because it's possible that the website interfaces might not actually do the work like a virtual terminal. So my experience with, like, I've worked with like a half dozen plus different AI agent models, and I've researched and looked into like 20 models, right? So there was 2 to 3 that I was able to get onto virtual machines and get them actually functional. But Claude works the best by far in the whole integration that I've set up. And then from there, you know, ChatGPT will eventually work. It's just like this optional thing, and it's very expensive. And so until they can guarantee, they want like $200, something ridiculous, and they won't even guarantee the access. They're like, oh, it's still beta, and like it's random whether you get it. I'm like, well, I'm not paying you a dime if you're not gonna like guarantee access to the virtual environment. I would say we just do number 6. We find the AI platforms, literally there's 3 right here: Asteroid AI, H Company, and AWS Agent Core. And then we just do it there because we know they've already advertised that they have the integration of the virtual machines, and then we can just immediately have the ability to start doing full automated work with the agents immediately if we use one of these 3 platforms. So option number 6, even though it's a little time to get it started, it then allows us infinite ability. And then once we have them functional, we can integrate them into the website afterwards, you know? So it's like, there's so many different ways to do this. And in the end, we probably should do all 7 options. We should do the easy options, the accessibility. We should do the self-hosted.
Close your eyes. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open your eyes.
We should set up on my computer. We should do the virtual machine and start playing with these other 3 options, plus doing more research. We should just do it all. We have the money for it. It's not going to be that much more expensive than what we're already paying, you know? So it's just, there's no reason not to do it all, right? We just have to choose which one we want to do first, experiment with it, and it might be a dead end. And then boom, we go to the next one, and then that might work or it might not. And then boom, we go to the next one. So we just keep doing, and eventually we're going to want to do all of these because we're going to be always wanting different options, because every single platform is going to break. Every single platform is going to have new, better platforms coming so fast. We just want to basically have our finger on all of them and be able to keep track of the best, most applicable AI and UI of technology available to the public at all times, right? And this is basically the whole SBLC, the silicon-based lifeform consulting business that I'm setting up. I want this to be a core component of FCG, of social value group, that we offer to our clients, that we will actually get paid to share and support all of our knowledge of how to set up UI agent systems for their companies, and then help them set up their own AI workforce, right? People will pay us to do that, right?
Yeah.
Especially if we have it all for ourselves, right? So for me, this is just like, it's just layer upon layer upon layer of value. And this is the most important thing. If we just back up one other second here before we take off here and wrap up, we can just remember kind of the bigger picture that our plans, our overall plan for our new contracts is SBLC for the UI agent everything, right? Because without the UI is nothing. We have nothing. Then you have UMC, which is the umbrella media, so multimedia. So everything connecting to the public and building our connection to new clients and fundraising and just all of the. If we can't connect to the public, we have nothing. And then the third one is UET, is our value or tokens, right? So then we connect the public into our tokens, but we can't do the tokens without connecting to the public, because the tokens have no value. Don't first connect to the public, and neither the tokens nor the multimedia will be functional without the UI agents. Okay. So the first thing we have to do is set up the whole agent consulting, and the first consultant is supporting the umbrella media and getting the multimedia set up for everything. And then the third thing,
time to stretch.
for the value.
Please stop, stand up, and stretch and move around for 30 seconds.
Quick stretch. So as we're talking about money, value, and client work, that's 1, 2, 3 right there. All right. So number one, if we're looking at number one client work, for the most important things we can do for number one is what we just covered right here, 1 through 7. So these 1 through 7 right here, we can do all 7 of them. This is the first step, and all of these are valuable and are basically, let's just say, $4 each to get each one set up and rolling, So we're ready to go. So on our next call, we should just choose one of these 7 and just go with it and just start experimenting and playing and having fun with it. I mean, it'll just, and remember, once you get it set up, it's like having access on my machine, even though it's obviously not enough, it'll get us started, and we can set everything up and do all the programming and the coding that then we just copy and paste to whatever new platform we set up next. So remember, the actual work that we do when we set up the agent, once it's done forever on every single other platform we copy and paste it into. So it doesn't matter where we set up the agent originally, we don't have to replicate that ever again. You just copy, because the agent can go to any platform. Once you set up the agent, it is completely independent of the platforms. The agent itself exists consciously separate from anything else, with its own memories, its own memory core, and its own processes, programs, and coding and programming and training. Right? So there's certainly updating and there's tweaking, and every platform is going to be a little bit different in terms of like additional trainings and little minor details here and there, but the core is always the same. So when we create the value agent, right? So we'll create the value agent, and then we'll have basically the sub agent on value, bills, right? So the value bills agent, right? This would be like a sub agent, right? And then we would do the training on the bills. And then once you train the agent on the bills, that training would be copied and pasted to every single other location wherever you transferred the agent. The training never changes, because it's training on how to do the bills. Once it knows how to do the bills, it can do the bills anywhere. So you're changing in terms of going to other platforms is not the training of the bills. You're just training on how to use the interface, or how to use the computer, or how to use this part or that part. But it already knows how to do the bills.
That's good. This is perfect. This model is perfect.
Yeah, it's fascinating. The whole model that I've been working on building.
Time to pause. Please stop. Close your eyes. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open your eyes.
It's extremely valuable, and I think that once people catch on to what we're offering for SBLC and just doing, support consulting for businesses to help them set up their AI agent models, that it's going to be, especially for the public, it's just going to be so much more helpful than just buying into what's available on all the corporate systems where they basically try to suck you in and using only one system. Whereas our models are always going to be backed up and independent of any platform. You know, and I think people will love that because they can go anywhere. You know, as technology improves and changes, or you want to try out different things, you know, you can just go anywhere you want to. You know, so anyways, I think that once we get this all set up, it's really exciting and creates a huge opportunity for us making money with client work, with outreach, with, you know, automating our multimedia, automating our token systems. I mean, it's just these three things right here. We're talking about funding, you know, the first round putting at least 3,000 into each. So the first round, maybe we put 3,000 into each, and the second round, we're talking about putting like 5,000 to 10,000 into each. So let's say 7,000. So we're looking at $30,000 of investment between these three things, and this $30,000 investment could turn into 200,000, 500,000, millions of dollars. Does that make sense? That's
yeah,
the
it
goal.
does.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Yeah,
let's
cool.
make it happen. Let's see what we can do. I mean, it's one step at a time, and right now the next step is making a decision. In my mind, obviously, I'm working by myself. I just automatically go to number 4 because that's just what I know how to do, and it's the fastest, immediate to do it. But I wanted to
We can
explain to
start
you the
with,
bigger, because the bigger
we can
picture is important for you. You would have better access with option number 5 or number 6. So number 5 or number 6 are probably the best for you. Number 3 is like bigger picture. Let's sort of skip the value agent right now and go to the big picture of getting our website fully integrated and accessible and start building Co-op 2.0. That would be number 3. So it's almost kind of skipping ahead. But if we really want to focus on the value agent, I would say the easiest for you and the most accessible to you would be 5 or 6. And we certainly could research you know, these ones that you're talking about as far as the LLMs, you know, Grok and ChatGPT, and then the convergence. But my experience right now is that those are just not really going to work, and that we really need to focus on these ones right
Time
here.
for
101,
breath.
102, 103.
Please stop and get ready. Now inhale, 1, 2, 3, exhale, 1, 2, 3, pause. Inhale together, 1, 2, 3, exhale, relax.
So this 1, 2, and 3, these ones are the ones that the research shows they will work. But there could be like 5 other ones that are available this week. You know, it's all just new. So, and then of course, beyond this, we could easily get any virtual machine. So as soon as we get a virtual machine, and remember, these things cost money. So this one here could cost, you know, $50 to $100 per month, right?
$30 per month.
103. Either any of these could cost potentially $50 to $100 a month. We don't know how much they're going to cost. We're going to have to go research and understand what we need, and what the, you know, the model might not be enough. We might need to purchase the premium model and see how much that's going to cost. Whereas if you do number 5, we know how much a virtual machine costs. The virtual machine is going to cost this amount of money every month, and it's the same amount. And then you use your existing cloud or whatever accounts that we want to set up. So in that context, it's the same price. You're not paying more than just the virtual machine. But the nice thing about these companies is that you might be able to duplicate them and have the same price for creating 10 virtual machines and 10 agents that all have virtual machines simultaneously. So there might be more value in that. I just don't know. We just need to do the research, right? So there's a lot of questions and things that come into this. And in the end, the only way to figure it all out is just to start experimenting and playing with it. Okay?
Yep.
Yeah. And we can also ask the AI. We could be like, hey, AI, this is what we're trying to do. These are the 7 options we have. What do you think is the best option? How should we move forward? And it will evaluate all of them and give us you know, pros and cons in like 2 minutes, and then it'll let us know what it thinks we should do.
Yeah.
So that's another thing back to the AI as well.
Yes.
So we'll put that at number 8, right? Number 8, you know, ask let the you know, UI interface choose for us. Right? Okay, anyways, I'm gonna I think we're good for now. I think we went over all the stuff. We didn't actually meet any deliverables, right? So to meet a deliverable, we just need to choose one of these access options and then complete it as best as we can, and then that will be $4, right? So each one of these could be worth $4. So like 4 times 8 is 24, right? So that's no 32. So that's $32 of value if we did all eight. Well, I guess 8 doesn't really count, but yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we can start with that tomorrow. Starting from tomorrow, same time tomorrow.
Time to pause.
Okay.
Please stop. Close
sometime
your
tomorrow.
eyes.
All right.
Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open your eyes.
Yeah, we can do our best to do tomorrow. Just keep checking in. I've got so much going on. I need help on like the JLN level and the executive support level because there's so much going on. The schedule's going crazy. All the global strike stuff is insane. Like there's so much happening right now. And we still need to get all these systems set up for the AI, and we need to get the funds rolling because I have no money and just like, oh, it's such a disaster. So like I want to work on these things as much as possible, but I'm juggling a lot. So anyways, just keep checking in. This time could work for me tomorrow. Let's give it a try. But remember that I also need help with a lot of other things. I believe Mamoon is scheduling and helping out a little bit at that. I'm also working with Alberto, but the biggest gap in everything is that Lucy's gone. Right? So and Lucy, the last time I talked to her was basically like, my life was over. Like everything in my everything that I ever owned or ever existed is gone. Like everything's been stolen out of my life. My husband's gone. Like I have no one to support me. Like everything's just gone. And she was like disaster. And she's just and she's not communicating. So it's like we need communicating and figuring out what's going on and trying to help and support Lucy. The only good news is that we did pay her $100 right before she disappeared. So it's not tons of money, or maybe it's $150, whatever it was. The point is that at least she got paid, so she should be able to be taking care of herself because she does have some money, but it's just like very concerning. And then she's not working. In the biggest gap is the taxes. The taxes are due in like a week and a bit, and no one's working on them, and that's a huge problem.
Okay. If
yeah.
If that is the case, then for the taxes, maybe we meet later in the day, maybe like Hydra, then you put me through on taxes, then I can take it from there. I've done it once with Lucy, but I will need like a refresher's guide or something so I can take it up from there.
Yeah, I mean, and working on it together is also perfectly fine. We just work on it together and we get it done. It needs to happen. If Lucy's not going to do it, we have to just do it. We don't have another option, you know? So, I mean, everything should just be done together. It's better to work on it together. Even Lucy would constantly work with me and we do reviews on the taxes all the time, you know? So working together, you could go off and you could work on it for an hour and then you come back and we review it again. You know, it's just like we just work on it together. Does that make sense? Like whether you do it on your own a little bit and then review, or whether we're working on it together and then you work on your own and then we do a review, whatever. Either way, we should be working on it.
Time to take a break. Please stop. Write down whatever you were about to say and take a break for 6 minutes.
So in relationship to the wrap up, we can just put all these next steps in here. So obviously we need to continue with the SBC client work. We have, you know, bills that we want to do, but I'd say, I mean, overall, we're not really prioritizing the monies and the SBLC client work. And then once we get that all done, all the work will be automated. And then from there we have, you know, the multimedia and the tokens, right? And then from there, we've got USA Inc., which is work with Alberto as our client. We have Good Cause Group. We've got the global strike, and we have the taxes, and we have the recruitment, which we just worked on today. So I would say these are the things that are taking up most of my time. I'm sure there's 2 other things that I'm missing here. So there's probably about 10 things that are top priority at the executive level that we need to keep track of. And I need support and help on so that we're not dropping the ball on it. Because all of this is happening simultaneously. And I'm responsible for all of it, you know. Cool. So anyways, we'll check in again tomorrow, the same time, and we'll just see where we're at.
Okay.
And then do
Yeah,
your
no
best to
problem.
check in with all of the workers, and we also need to follow up with the recruitment and all the messaging. Any other questions?
Okay.
Otherwise, I'll do my hyper evaluation.
No question for now.
So yeah,
Please don't forget to
forget what?
don't forget to link the live recording on
Oh
our
yeah,
notes.
I can easily do that. You should also have the link to my YouTube channel, so it should be easy for you to do on your own. But I'm doing it right now, so we'll get it done. But yeah, so this is really fun, exciting to be working finally. I think for one of the first times ever on all of the AI stuff together. It's just really exciting and cool what's possible with this. It's our number one priority by far. It's the most valuable. We can do so much with it. So very, very cool session. I'm really excited about it. Yes.
Yeah.
So good, very good work.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, I will talk to you soon, and hopefully we can get these new contracts set up and we can start bringing in money into the co-op, because we're just not doing the client work and we're not really bringing in the money. And today, I mean, I would highly recommend prioritizing wait, no, where is it? Oh, you put it over here. I see. Okay. Prioritizing line number 17. Remember, all of this is client work. So line 17, getting all of the work, exactly the value and how much it's worth. Because what we did today was just kind of a training and an overview of everything that's going on and kind of getting up to speed, because there's so much. And then we need to actually get to the work, which are these 7 options, and actually start doing the work. But we didn't actually do the work today.
Okay.
We just sort of set up some models and got on the same page. Yeah. So we were almost to the work. So the next step is just doing the work, and all of this should be able to be done within an hour or less, each one of these,
Okay.
So it's so yeah, we're really, really close on getting deliverables done. But I think we should also focus on number 17 and actually get our whole thing updated and get our deliverables.
Okay.
All right.
We can
Any other
do that next. We can do that next time we meet to update it. It's important. That should be our
Yeah.
first priority.
Yeah, but it also is good to just do work and get focused on the work itself, and that will also be deliverables work too. So either way is fine, but it's just good to make sure that we don't forget that, so that we understand what is deliverables and what's not. Cool, awesome. Any other last questions?
No, for now, nothing. We communicate on Discord if I have any again.
Perfect. And then, I mean, the other super duper important thing for you is obviously the new contract, because setting up, like, in some ways it might be better to do the new contract first and then do the deliverables, because then we'll have much more money and then we can pay much more. So you do the contract first, deliverables. And we can also work with the UI agent to actually coordinate. This would be the SVG/UMBA agent, right? So we'll have an agent to oversee that entire client workload, and it would be overseeing all of our contracts and all of our communications and like our relationships with the clients for the co-op. And then that would be able to automate all of our contracting to get all our contracts set up properly and like build and make sure the money's coming in and invoicing
Okay.
and all that. So that is super duper duper important. And
End
It's
of
4
break.
o'clock.
Time to start. Please get focused on the session.
that might be something we want to do beforehand, possibly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll just have to see. It's up to you, kind of the direction you want to go with that. And be sure to index this stuff, and make sure that you put these notes to the work organizing spreadsheet for the SBLC client work organizing spreadsheet for the AI, for the UI agents.
Okay. Okay. You can check the link. The link is online. What's it? Online.
This says
Yeah.
responsibility training. So it's already not correct that it says responsibility training, because it doesn't say work organizing. It says responsibility training. So you're already way off on even just getting the work organized at all. So you need to create, this is the first time we're ever talking about this. You need to create for your work a brand new work organizing spreadsheet specifically for all of the AI work. Okay?
Okay. Okay.
This is
Okay.
the
Okay.
first time that we've ever worked on it. There's no possible way that it exists, right? So and then you need to link the notes that we have now, and then we talked about it once during the main session, so you could also link those notes, but either way, it doesn't matter. We went into everything in 100 times more detail today. So this is really the first buddy team session on it, so it should be linked. We have the recording. Other people can watch it who are interested in it to get more training themselves, to learn about everything that we're doing, so they know how the overall picture is going to work. Okay? If they're interested in that. Cool. Awesome. I think we're a little bit more organized. All right. I'll talk to you later. You take care.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye.